To better understand this article, let's talk about some key terms. A theory of action is a set of rules that individuals use to design and implement their own behavior and to understand the behavior of others. An espoused theory is what that individual likes to think their theory of action is. People can be very invested in being the type of person who does X. The theory in use is how an individual actually behaves. The implication is that in many cases, the espoused theory and the theory in use contradict each other. Just because a person likes to describe themselves as a person who does X doesn't mean they actually do X. Defensive reasoning stems from a common theory in use. Most individuals try to remain in unilateral control whenever possible. They also try to minimize losing and maximize winning situations. They believe that negative feelings should be suppressed, and with this, they wish to appear as rational as possible. Single-loop learning is what happens when you solve one particular problem by applying a solution. Double-loop learning is when you solve the problem at hand, but then you reflect on how you solve the problem in order to learn how to do better next time. The doom loop or doom zoom occurs when a person who does not have much experience with failure begins to fear that they are failing. This fear of failure morphs into a meta fear of failure, which has been termed the doom loop. This can also be known as the doom zoom, as successful people who feel that they're failing can zoom straight into feeling despondent very quickly. A team of consultants has just completed a deliverable for their client. The client is happy, but the team's manager, Joe, thinks that they could have done better. Joe calls a meeting. He encourages his team to tell him what he did wrong and how he could have done better. The team enthusiastically critiques their boss. But when Joe asks his team how they themselves could have done better, the team blamed everyone but themselves. Joe was too controlling, the clients were arrogant and demanding, but the team, they were perfect. No matter how much Joe pressed the team members to analyze their own performance, the team was simply unable to break through their defensive reasoning. Jane is the CEO. She was not looking forward to meeting with her management team because she expected their usual defensive reasoning to creep into the conversation, leading to an unproductive meeting. Instead of holding that meeting, Jane sat down and wrote out what she thought people would be saying in the meeting, like a script. She also wrote down what she would have been thinking in response to the conversation. Jane presented this as a case study of themselves to her management team at the next meeting. She asked them to analyze it with her. By using the tool of the case study, individuals were able to acknowledge their own defensive reasoning and any failures in performance. Through this meeting, Jane got much more honest feedback about her own management style, and the team was able to work through the defensive reasoning and truly begin the process of self-improvement.